Archangel Michael says you've been watched since birth. A hidden agreement is ending tonight at midnight. From the moment your spirit chose this earthly path, eyes that were not of flesh began to watch. You, beloved one, were marked. Marked not by man but by heaven. You came with a blueprint, an assignment encoded in your very being. And from that hour, shadows stirred, forces aligned to delay, distract, and confuse what was sealed in the celestial scrolls long before you took your first breath. Archangel Michael, the guardian of divine order, now steps forward with urgency, for the time has come to close what was never meant to remain open. An ancient agreement, formed in secrecy, cloaked in generations of spiritual manipulation, is unraveling, and its expiration date has been set. Midnight. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Midnight. This message isn't random. It's divine recall. You felt it in your bones. You've seen glimpses in dreams. You sensed something watching, waiting, working in silence. But tonight, the silence breaks. What once followed you through childhood tears, adult confusion, and silent battles, what once haunted every new opportunity with hidden sabotage, is now being dismissed. This agreement, often inherited unknowingly, was like invisible ink written across your path. But Archangel Michael declares that ink is now dissolving in the fire of heaven's decree. You are not who you were when this began. You are no longer bound to the outcomes written without your consent. The atmosphere around you is trembling because what was hidden is being judged, and what once bound you must now bow to the light. Archangel Michael is sounding a heavenly alarm, and if you are hearing this, it means you were never forgotten. You were never random. You were always on heaven's radar. And now, heaven is on yours. Listen closely. There's a shift approaching faster than the ticking of your clock. As the hands race toward midnight, something ancient is unraveling. Something invisible is breaking. Something spiritual is ending, and it has your name written in fire. You've been observed not just by heaven, but also by watchers cloaked in darkness, those who hoped your light would dim, your confidence would crumble, your gifts would go dormant. But they didn't count on this day. They didn't anticipate this message. They didn't prepare for the final divine audit at the strike of midnight. This is more than a warning. It is a decree. Archangel Michael, commander of heaven's armies, has stepped down into your timeline, holding the sword of truth in one hand and the seal of finality in the other. And he declares, what was attached to you without your awareness must be severed now. Not later. Not when you're ready. But now. Midnight is not just a time on a clock. It is a spiritual collision between what was and what must be. And as the hours collapse, your soul is being summoned into alignment. The atmosphere around you is thick with movement. If you felt uneasy, if you felt eyes on you without cause, if you've walked through doors and sensed invisible weight, it's because this agreement has been preparing to break. And now, the sword has been raised. You are under divine protection, but you must be awake. You must be present. You must not miss this window. Because this moment, this night, this final hour, have been encoded into your story since the beginning. And no weapon formed against you shall prosper. But that doesn't mean the weapon won't try. That doesn't mean the enemy won't whisper one last time. That doesn't mean temptation won't call your name with urgency in the final minutes before midnight. Stay awake. Stay alert. Because what you ignore in this hour, you may be forced to carry for another cycle. But if you respond, if you rise, if you receive, then this hidden agreement ends tonight. not in part. In full. Type "I received this breakthrough" in the comments to break the chain. Blessing code 333 is moving in your favor now. There has always been something you couldn't quite put into words, an invisible tension, an unspoken awareness that you were never truly alone. Not in your joy, not in your pain, not even in your silence. You've walked through life carrying a sense that you were being observed, and you were right. It wasn't paranoia. It wasn't imagination. It was spiritual surveillance. From your first step to your first heartbreak, from your first success to your hardest failure, something, someone, had been watching. And not all eyes watching you were kind. Some watched in admiration, others in envy, but a few watched with intention, with an agenda, with a hidden claim on your destiny. What they saw, they tried to replicate. What they couldn't replicate, they tried to suppress. And what they couldn't suppress, they swore to sabotage. This is the emotional disruption the enemy doesn't want you to understand. Because once you do, everything changes. You've been labeled, misunderstood. You've been judged by people who only know fragments of your story. People who think they've figured you out, when they've barely scratched the surface. They've taken your quiet as weakness. They've taken your absence as failure. They've spoken your name in circles that couldn't handle your truth. Conversations have happened behind your back, not by accident but by orchestration. And those conversations carried weight in the spirit. Words spoken in ignorance became weapons in the wrong hands. These weren't just gossips. They were assignments sent to cloud your identity, to distort your image, to confuse your direction. But Archangel Michael declares, every word not rooted in truth is now being uprooted. Someone thought they knew you. They thought they could summarize your soul by the chapter they entered. But they missed the pages soaked in tears, the prayers whispered at 3:00 a.m., the promises made between you and heaven. They've uncovered fragments, yes, but fragments are not fullness. They mistook glimpses for the whole story. But heaven sees it all. Heaven knows. And now heaven is revealing. The enemy has watched, hoping to study your patterns. He's watched who you love. He's watched what you dream. He's watched what you fear. And with every misstep, he's tried to write your obituary in the spirit before your testimony was even finished. But he underestimated your resilience. He underestimated your anointing. He underestimated the divine decree that rests upon your name. The spiritual watchers weren't just people. There were spirits attached to bloodlines, whispers tied to generational pain, and forces that made silent agreements with your ancestors long before you ever had the language to renounce them. And tonight, yes, tonight, that agreement is being confronted. You were never meant to carry that weight. You were never designed to inherit their spiritual debt. The hidden watchers, the silent manipulators, the familiar spirits that operated under the radar, they are being exposed. They're being judged. And most of all, they're being evicted. But this eviction requires your awareness. It requires your participation. Because your freedom isn't passive. It's prophetic. You may feel emotional tonight. You may feel angry, sad, heavy, confused. But do not let these feelings paralyze you. Let them inform you. Let them awaken you. Because what you feel is not random. It is the unraveling of a false reality. The mask is falling. The shadow is shrinking. And the watchers, they're watching you realize who you truly are. They're watching the spell break. They're watching their claim dissolve. You are not theirs. You never were. And now, as the clock inches closer to midnight, your spirit is preparing to say, enough. Amor. Type enough. I am free. In the comments if this message is yours. Lesson code 444 is releasing you now. This battle you've been fighting, this strange war that doesn't seem to have a clear enemy, has never truly been about the people. It's never truly been about your boss who suddenly turned cold. It's never truly been about the family member who betrayed you. It's not about the friend who disappeared without warning, or the lover who couldn't handle your light. What you've been facing isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. This is the part they don't tell you. This is the part your soul has been trying to explain to your mind. The conflict, the rejection, the sabotage, the confusion. These are not coincidences. These are collisions between light and shadow, between truth and deception, between the part of you that knows you are chosen and the force that fears you'll actually believe it. Archangel Michael speaks clearly. This is not personal. This is warfare. The resistance you felt didn't come because you were wrong. It came because you were right. It came because you were close. It came because your presence threatened structures both seen and unseen. Your light doesn't just shine. It exposes. It agitates. It disarms. And when light steps into a place that's grown comfortable with darkness, there will always be a reaction. You are the reaction. You are the revelation. You didn't ask for this, but you were made for it. And now, heaven is making it clear, every attack, every delay, every detour, it has been part of a spiritual attempt to derail your assignment. You were never weak. You were never random. You were anointed, marked, sealed, and that seal has made you a target, not for punishment, but for purpose. The hidden agreement, the one being severed tonight, was not just a line of inherited bondage. It was a legal access point used by the enemy to keep you spiritually distracted, emotionally drained, and mentally entangled. But no more. Michael's sword does not miss. And tonight, that sword is severing what the blood of Christ already redeemed. You are not fighting for freedom. You are stepping into it. You are not striving for identity. You are recovering it. You are not begging for release. You are commanding it. And the realm of darkness is trembling because your voice is rising. They came against your peace because your peace was power. They came against your mind because your mind carries blueprints for divine strategy. They came against your confidence because your confidence was starting to intimidate what once controlled you. And so the enemy used people. He used patterns. He used old pain. But every tactic is now collapsing. Every plan is now failing. The covenant made without your knowing is being revoked with your knowing. Because knowledge is power, and truth is the blade. And the truth is this: you were never theirs to bind. You were never theirs to limit. You were never theirs to manipulate. The watchers can watch no more. The shadows must flee. Because you are not entering the battle. You were born in it, and you were born to win. Archangel Michael stands between you and the unseen. He wars for you in places your feet will never step. And he speaks a final command: take your rightful place. The spiritual realm responds to the authority of one who knows they are chosen. That is you. The agreement is ending because your awareness is rising. The curse is breaking because your consciousness is awakening. The night is ending because your light is increasing. And nothing born of darkness can survive the dawn. Type I am anointed in the comments if your spirit agrees. Blessing code 777 is surrounding you now with divine protection. Now hear this clearly. Before this hidden agreement ends at midnight, there will be one final attempt to keep it alive. The enemy does not release without resistance. He does not surrender territory without first attempting a counterattack. And Archangel Michael is sounding the warning. Before the final stroke of midnight, someone will reach out. A message, a memory, a subtle trigger, a carefully crafted illusion meant to draw you back into what heaven is trying to pull you out of. You must not respond from emotion. You must not react from habit. Because this final attempt is not just emotional. It is strategic. It is spiritual. And it is designed to reopen what God is about to permanently close. The person you haven't heard from in months. The situation you thought was behind you. The emotion you thought you buried. Don't be surprised if they show up. Don't be shaken if it all resurfaces. This is not random. This is not timing. This is interference. The enemy knows that once this agreement ends, you will rise in ways he cannot predict. You will access blessings that have been suspended. You will speak with power he cannot silence. So he will try, one last time, to bait you, to distract you, to pull you into one more conversation, one more compromise, one more delay. But you cannot afford to respond from the same frequency. You are not who you were when this began. You are no longer available to the old version of yourself. Archangel Michael declares, they may come with questions, but you owe them no answers. They may come with apologies, but your healing does not require their validation. They may come with familiar patterns, but you must break the loop. What is ahead of you is sacred. What is forming in the spirit cannot afford contamination. Midnight is not just a line on the clock. It is a gate. And gates require discernment. Not everyone who knocks deserves entry. Not every memory deserves to be revisited. Not every emotion needs to be felt again. What you entertain tonight could either be your breakthrough or your cycle. Choose wisely. You've come too far. You've cried too many tears. You've shed too many layers to let a voice from your past redefine your present. Yes, it will be tempting. Yes, it will feel unresolved. But you must remember, closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes, closure is clarity. Sometimes, closure is silence. Sometimes, closure is simply choosing not to return. And right now, Archangel Michael is guarding that closure with his sword. But you must do your part. You must remain silent when provoked. You must remain grounded when rattled. You must remain still when tested. Because heaven fights for those who refuse to fight battles beneath their destiny. If you respond emotionally, the enemy wins. If you react instinctively, the loop continues. But if you remain still, if you hold your peace, then heaven will roar on your behalf. You are not weak. You are wise. You are not passive. You are protected. And your refusal to engage will send a message louder than words. I am not who I used to be. I am no longer under that agreement. I am walking in divine authority now. This is your moment of decision. Midnight is approaching. The final test is upon you. And you will either return to the familiar or rise into the supernatural. Archangel Michael is watching. Heaven is bearing witness. And the enemy is trembling, because your silence tonight might just be your greatest weapon. Type "I will not return" in the comments if you're walking through this gate. Blessing code 888 now covers your decisions with divine clarity. Now that you know the battle is spiritual, now that you feel the final test swirling in the atmosphere, now that you sense the hour of ending is close, you must protect your posture. You must guard your spirit like sacred treasure. Archangel Michael is not just the warrior of heaven. He is the defender of alignment. And he speaks to you now, not only to expose the plot but to position your heart for victory. You are not called to fight with words tonight. You are not required to explain. You are not required to engage. You are not required to revisit the emotional battlefield where you once bled. Your strength is not in your argument. Your power is not in your reaction. Your anointing will speak louder than any voice raised against you. Be still. That is the instruction. Be still, not because you are weak, but because you are divinely protected. Let your silence become a roar in the spirit. Let your lack of response thunder in the ears of your enemies. When you refuse to descend into drama, confusion, or conflict, you send a clear signal to the universe. I know who I am. I know whose I am. And I no longer entertain what contradicts my calling. You are covered, not because of anything you've done, but because heaven has chosen you for something greater. And with that choosing comes responsibility. Responsibility to protect your peace, to honor your growth, and to guard the sacred space around your soul. This is not the time to justify yourself. This is not the time to reach for closure. This is not the time to dig through old wounds hoping someone else will clean them for you. This is the time to rise. Quietly, boldly, with eyes fixed forward. Because the moment you look back, you give life to what heaven is trying to bury. And Archangel Michael is clear. Do not resurrect what the Spirit has declared dead. Do not revive what was killing you slowly. Do not entertain voices that never spoke life into you when you needed it most. You owe no one a seat at the table of your becoming. Your assignment now is simple, but it is sacred. Stay grounded. Breathe deeply. Speak slowly. Move with intention. Do not allow external chaos to hijack your internal peace. There is a stillness within you that the enemy cannot touch. And tonight, that stillness is your shield. The watchers are watching. The whispers are stirring. The atmosphere is thick with judgment and memory. But you must remember who you are becoming. You must remember what you have already survived. This isn't the moment to shrink. This isn't the hour to apologize for your healing. This is the gate you've been walking toward for years, and stillness will carry you through it. Let heaven fight for you. Let the sword of Michael slash every unseen thread. Let the light within you be so radiant, so settled, so unmoved, that even darkness recoils. You are not here to beg for peace. You are here to embody it. You are not here to negotiate your worth. You are here to walk in it. You are not here to calm the storms in others. You are here to command your own. And as you choose stillness, you give permission for heaven's justice to move on your behalf. You are being surrounded right now by unseen angels, by divine insight, by a covering no enemy can penetrate. Stay under that covering. Remain in that frequency. The gate opens at midnight, and you must be in position. Guard your peace like a sword. Guard your posture like a crown. Guard your presence like a promise. Type I am still. I am shielded. In the comments if this word covers you. Blessing code 999 now shields your spirit with divine stillness. The breaking of this hidden agreement is not just a spiritual end. It is your divine beginning. Archangel Michael declares that after midnight, the story flips. The tide turns. The gate opens. And what once stood as a wall of resistance becomes a threshold to your elevation. You are no longer the watched. You are now the watcher. You are no longer the one reacting. You are now the one commanding. The chains that once gripped your feet are being shattered, not just so you can walk freely, but so you can run, so you can soar, so you can lead. The spiritual authority that was once suppressed by the enemy's contract is now being activated with divine force. You were not just delivered. You are being positioned to dominate. They tried to define you by your history, but heaven has already rewritten your prophecy. You are not what you were called, you are what you carry. And what you carry is not small. What you carry is legacy. What you carry is fire. What you carry is the echo of every yes you've whispered in private, every surrender you've made in silence, every act of obedience you carried out when no one saw. Archangel Michael wants you to know that nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the delay, not even the betrayal. Everything has been shaping you for this shift. And now, the spiritual realm sees it. The glow, the oil, the wisdom, the worship. You have become a walking contradiction to every word spoken against you. You are rising. Quietly. Powerfully. Irrevocably. And those who once watched you from the shadows will now witness your rising from afar. The same ones who doubted your calling will be confounded by your crowning. The same ones who underestimated your path will marvel at your progress. But this time, you won't have to prove anything. Your fruit will speak for itself. Your glow will make the announcement. Your presence will carry the confirmation. You are not who they thought you were, and that's the miracle. You've been transformed in silence, reborn in fire, elevated in warfare. You are heaven's contradiction. You are the storm they never saw coming. And this new version of you, the one free from hidden agreements and spiritual surveillance, is a force sent to disrupt everything false. Archangel Michael is placing a mantle on your shoulders now. Not just a crown, but a George. You are to move differently. Speak differently. Think differently. You are no longer operating from survival. You are moving in strategy. You are no longer asking to be seen. You are commanding the atmosphere. Every room you step into from this moment forward must adjust to your frequency. Every deal you accept must align with your purpose. Every relationship you entertain must reflect your royalty. You don't chase. You attract. You don't explain. You embody. You don't return to the old. You reveal the new. This is the shift. This is the elevation. This is the awakening of your divine self. From this moment on, let your walk reflect the breaking. Let your voice reflect the freedom. Let your confidence carry the weight of generations who never saw this day. You are their answered prayer. You are their redeemed lineage. You are the curse breaker. You are the pattern shifter. You are the proof that spiritual inheritance can be rewritten. And now, with Archangel Michael standing behind you, sword drawn, presence fierce, protection activated, you walk forward, not in fear, not in guilt, but in full empowerment. Type "I am rising" in the comments if your new season has begun. Blessing code 1212 now releases empowerment and favor over your path. It is done. What was once hidden is now exposed. What was once binding is now broken. What was once chasing you is now retreating. The midnight hour is no longer ahead of you. It is happening. And as heaven strikes the divine clock, the agreement that has loomed over your life like a silent shadow is being dissolved by decree. Archangel Michael stands in the unseen with his sword lowered, because the battle is no longer ongoing. It is finished. The watchers can no longer observe. The curses can no longer cling. The whispers can no longer influence. The binding has been burned in the fire of divine truth, and your spirit now rises unchained, untouched, unstoppable. This isn't just spiritual talk, it is a divine reality being written into the very script of your future. You will feel it in your bones. You will feel it in the lightness of your breath. You will feel it in the sudden clarity of your thoughts. There is an ease returning. There is a calm you haven't felt in years. Doors that once slammed shut in your face will begin to open as if they were waiting for your name to be cleared. You will notice patterns shifting. Conversations that once strained you will no longer affect you. Old habits will lose their grip. Familiar temptations will lose their voice. You are not in a loop anymore. You are walking in a new law, heaven's law. This is not just about what you are leaving. It's about what is now coming. Restoration, clarity, peace, favor, unexpected alignments, euchanarians, divine timing. A door will open that leads you into a place you thought you missed. But you didn't miss it. It was protected until now. Because heaven could not allow you to walk into certain spaces while the hidden agreement still hovered above your head. But now the record has been cleared. The atmosphere has shifted. And everything that was once delayed is being recalibrated and fast-tracked. You won't have to chase it. It's coming for you. Because divine justice always delivers what delay tried to steal. Archangel Michael is not just a warrior. He is a witness. He has stood guard through the years you almost gave up, through the nights you cried out for answers, through the seasons where you thought God forgot your name. He has seen it all. And now, he stands in celebration, not because of what he did, but because of what you survived. Because of what you chose to believe in the dark. Because of how you continued to rise even when the weight was crushing. You've been tested by silence, proven by time. And now, you are ready. The transformation is real. The awakening is irreversible. The anointing is undeniable. Someone will come forward with truth. A confirmation you never expected. A whisper of honesty that opens a door wider than you imagined. Do not doubt it when it comes. Do not shrink when it appears. Do not sabotage what is meant for you by thinking you're unworthy. You are worthy. You are chosen. You are walking in inheritance now. This was the final test before the unlocking. This was the last echo of the old timeline. And now, as you exhale what was, you inhale what will be. Peace is coming in unexpected forms. It may not look like what you planned. It may not sound like what you prayed. But it will fit. It will flow. It will feel like freedom. The hidden agreement has ended. The spiritual surveillance has ceased. The loop has been destroyed. You are no longer bound by timelines that don't belong to you. You are aligned. You are released. You are stepping into what was written long before fear had a voice. Type IT is finished in the comments if you receive this transformation. Blessing code 555 now anchors this shift into your reality. You've heard the message. You felt the power. You sensed the shift. But now comes the part that many overlook, your response. Because in the realm of the spirit, agreement is activation. And Archangel Michael is making this clear. How you respond in this moment will determine what gets sealed into your atmosphere. You are no longer a passive listener. You are an active co-creator. The hidden agreement is broken in the spirit, yes, but now it must be broken in your declaration. Now it must be dissolved by your words, by your posture, by your conscious decision to move differently from this moment forward. This is your holy action point, your soul's signal to heaven that you are ready for the upgrade your spirit has already received. Do not scroll away without sealing this. Do not leave this space without confirming your agreement with divine timing. There are portals that open only through spoken faith. There are realms you access only when you declare boldly, "This word is for me." This promise is mine. I am stepping into this new dimension with full authority. Every amen, every I receive it, every affirmation you speak into this moment, these are not empty words. These are activations. These are spiritual timestamps. These are markers heaven uses to know. This one is ready. This one believes. This one has heard and will not go back. If you stay silent now, you give permission for the old cycle to echo one more time. But if you speak, if you type, if you declare, you draw the line in the spirit and say, no more. You don't need perfection to move forward. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to agree. Because spiritual release responds to agreement. Angels are dispatched on the wings of obedience. And Archangel Michael is waiting to seal what heaven has already signed. But it cannot be completed without your yes. Not just in your heart, but in your voice, in your fingers, in your soul, in your choice. So type it, say it, believe it, and more importantly, live it. Don't just nod in this moment and forget tomorrow. Let this be the moment that alters how you walk into rooms. Let this be the line that changes how you let people speak to you. Let this be the shift that silences every lie you once believed about yourself. Because tonight wasn't just another message, it was a spiritual pivot, an unraveling, a gate opening, and your choice to declare that you are ready, that you are chosen, that you receive, is what allows that gate to open fully, without delay, without resistance, without shadow. Heaven has done its part. Michael has delivered the word. The sword has struck. The watchers have been dismissed. The agreement has expired. Now it's your turn. Stand in your authority. Step into your anointing. Activate your alignment. And declare that you are who heaven says you are. No longer bound. No longer silent. No longer delayed. Type I activate my freedom in the comments to seal your new timeline. Blessing code 111 is now unlocking doors and timelines in your favor. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way, and your support means the world to this divine mission. Archangel Michael says you've been watched since birth, and a hidden agreement is ending tonight at midnight. The declaration was not just a title. It was a prophecy written into your atmosphere, whispered through time, sealed by heaven, and confirmed by fire. Now, here you stand, at the close of one spiritual age, and the rise of a new one. The watchers have fallen silent. The chains have turned to dust. The contract is no more. And you, beloved, are still standing. Stronger, brighter, wiser, lighter. Not because the path was easy, but because the fire could not consume what heaven had already claimed. You are a living miracle. You are a breathing breakthrough. You are the testimony wrapped in human form. Let this truth sink deep into your soul. You are not a victim. You are the revelation. You are the evidence that light wins, that darkness fails, that hidden forces lose their grip when truth is revealed, that silence can speak louder than screams, that peace can disarm powers no weapon ever could. You were never overlooked. You were hidden for refinement. You were never forsaken. You were being prepared for such a time as this. And now that the spiritual ink has dried on the final page of that old agreement, you can move differently. You can dream boldly. You can speak freely. You can trust yourself again. Because the version of you that stands in this moment is not the version they tried to break. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Let them replay the old stories in their minds. Because you have exited the chapter they are still stuck in. You have evolved beyond the version of you they once had access to. And the beauty of it is this: you don't have to explain your glow. You don't have to defend your healing. You don't have to make your freedom digestible. A shift is real. The glow is divine. And the silence, it's sacred. It's wrapped in grace. It's covered in armor. It's filled with fire. Let them misinterpret your stillness. It only proves how little they understood your storm. Archangel Michael now stands behind you as a seal of divine closure. No more wandering. No more cycles. No more doubts about who you are or what you carry. Walk as the miracle. Breathe as the chosen. Speak as the appointed. Let every step you take from here declare, I am not bound. I am not broken. I am not available to confusion. I am fully aligned with my divine timeline. Heaven smiles when you say this. The earth shifts when you embody this. The spiritual realm obeys when you walk in this. You are heaven's echo on earth. You are divine thunder in human form. You are the proof that midnight isn't just an end, it's a birth. Let peace be your proof. Let favor be your response. Let joy be your justice. And when you are tempted to doubt it again, return to this truth. You are free. You are sealed. You are rising. The hidden agreement is no longer yours to carry. What was once watching you now watches from the outside, powerless. And as for your soul, it's sovereign now, unbound, glowing, crowned, and ready. Type I am the revelation in the comments if this message anchored in your soul. Blessing code 000 is now sealing your new beginning with peace, power, and purpose.